SCP-4221. What a wonderful world! Special Containment Procedures. All houses adjacent to SCP-4221 have been purchased by the Foundation and are to be maintained by Foundation personnel. Any civilians entering SCP-4221 are to be immediately detained and amnesticized as appropriate. All weapons and bladed instruments are to be kept out of view of SCP-4221-1. Once weekly, a cleaning crew is to dispose of trash, clean up spills, and dust inside SCP-4221, as well as restocking the supply of bandages. In the event of aggressive behavior on the part of SCP-4221-1, Foundation personnel are to withdraw and notify MTF Beta-21 Pied Pipers to subdue the entity. SCP-4221-1 is not to be removed from SCP-4221. SCP-4221-2 is to be kept under video surveillance at all times, with any changes or emissions to be reported immediately. Drone exploration is currently suspended. Description: SCP-4221 is a blue two-story house, located in a row of similar houses along a side street in Redacted, Toronto. It is the location of the following anomalies. SCP-4221-1, the inhabitant of SCP-4221. SCP-4221-1 is a humanoid entity roughly 2.3 meters in height with an arm span of 4 meters. The entity possesses unusually active sebaceous glands, which produce a thick, black oil coating most of the entity's skin. The entity has been provided weekly with clean bandages in an attempt to preserve a sanitary environment in SCP-4221, which has been largely successful. SCP-4221-1 has shown no capacity for speech, although it has demonstrated some understanding of simple commands. See Addendum 4221-3. SCP-4221-1 possesses an extreme phobia of weapons, especially bladed weapons. Even the presence of a fork can cause SCP-4221-1 to retreat into the attic of its residence until the threat is gone. This has made obtaining samples of its tissues extremely difficult. DNA analysis of SCP-4221-1 secretions show a 99.6% match to human DNA. However, the DNA shows an extreme number of mutations, similar to those caused by prolonged exposure to radiation. SCP-4221-2, an intermittent spacetime anomaly localized within the kitchen wall of SCP-4221, measuring roughly 5 centimeters in diameter. During activation events, see below, the anomaly provides an opening into a dark, seemingly abandoned space containing large masses of fungi similar to Stachybotrys chartarum, Dictyostelium discoideum, and other fungi. When not activated, it appears similar to the surrounding kitchen wall, albeit stained with black from frequent exposure to the molds inside. Several times daily, SCP-4221-1 will initiate an activation event. It does so by approaching the location of SCP-4221-2, holding its ear close to the anomaly. Roughly 20% of the time, it will walk away after listening. In the other 80% of instances, it places its hand through the anomaly, which opens to accommodate it. The entity then retrieves large masses of mold for consumption. After SCP-4221-1's harvesting, the opening begins to close over the space of 5 to 10 minutes. All attempts to maintain the anomaly have failed, as have attempts to activate it without the assistance of SCP-4221-1. Due to SCP-4221-1's low level of intelligence, see Addendum 4221-3, staff have been unable to negotiate more frequent activation events. Insertion of recording equipment into SCP-4221-2 has been successful. However, upon closing, all items lodged within SCP-4221-2 are severed, and radio communication with equipment in the interior is lost. Due to these properties, The current working theory is that this opening is a liminal space leading to a location distant from ours in space, time, and/or dimension. Incident 4221-1. During the listening portion of a standard activation event, SCP-4221-1 became extremely agitated and fled into the attic of SCP-4221. SCP-4221-1 waited 2 days before the next activation event, showing signs of fatigue from lack of food. During the next successful activation event, SCP-4221-1 retrieved a tangle of clothing from SCP-4221-2, in addition to its usual harvest of molds. The clothing was an orange jumpsuit, stained black. The jumpsuit contained tears and bite marks indicative of large predators. Chemical analysis showed a lack of blood. All stains were found to consist of mold and a fluid identical to that covering SCP-4221-1's skin. Addendum 4221-2. Preliminary video recordings of the interior of SCP-4221-2 show an apparently man-made cluster of connected buildings coated with black, tarry substances. Due to the limited communication time span, drones have yet to explore the exterior of these buildings. No flora or fauna have been observed. However, drone signals from previous activation events have not yet been picked up upon subsequent events, suggesting some active agent interfering with drone activity. Note: as of redacted/redacted 1 drone has returned with video footage. See Addendum 4. Analysis of the building layout and room contents suggests that the building was used for restraint, similar to a prison, with barred interior windows, chains, emergency shutters, and restricted access to exterior walls. A comparison search ordered by Site Director Redacted showed that the layout did not correspond to any current Foundation facility. Addendum 4221-3. In an effort to establish communication, the NIM-WASHO protocol was authorized by Site Director Redacted. This was adapted to use symbol cards, as SCP-4221-1's limbs were deemed incapable of complex sign language communication. According to senior researcher Keegan, the test results indicated an intelligence level on par with a human 2-year-old child. Notable results are indicated below. Results of interest. Numerals. Subject showed a consistent aversion to the number 7, both in pictograph form and, when taught the meaning, in numerical form. Grasped the concept of numerals but not of place value. Colors. Subject consistently sorted red cards into their own stack, separating them from all other shades. Showed no unusual reaction to other colors. Animals. Subject showed much more interest in depictions of humans of all ages than in other animals, even at the abstract level, such as smiley faces. Showed mild interest in a depiction of itself. Note: long-term analysis of intelligence is underway to see if SCP-4221-1 is capable of mental growth over time. Dr. Keegan, Addendum 4221-4. The following is a transcript of the only drone to be recovered from inside SCP-4221-2. Dr. Keegan, Redacted. 8 audio quality. Okay, we're live. Test number 337, Autonomous Drone. Begin video. Video shows SCP-4221-1 standing in the kitchen, its arm inside of SCP-4221-2. After several minutes of feeding, SCP-4221-1 departs. The drone moves forward, passing through SCP-4221-2. Video shows a room stained with mold. One fluorescent light is functional, while others are present but shattered. Audio quality immediately becomes fuzzier, with additional hisses and crackles throughout. There is a banging sound that was not audible on previous recordings. Dr. Keegan, steer the drone towards the sound. From the mic readings, I'd estimate it at 223.5. Down the hallway on the left. Then set it to auto, and have it start heading back when the battery's at 60%. Director, Redacted, thinks we've been pushing them too far. Hole is closing in 5, 4, 3, Contact with command is lost. The drone continues under autonomous guidance. The hallway opens up into a large, high-ceilinged room with several doors leading in other directions. The drone sweeps through the large room first. The room seems to have originally been constructed of brick or cinder blocks but is now almost entirely coated in black, consistent in appearance with mold samples previously obtained. Faded colors remain visible on the doors, with 2 green doors, a blue door, and a red door. As the drone passes by the red door, the banging intensifies, and a puddle of vivid red liquid seeps from under the door. The drone continues its autonomous pattern, entering the first green door. The room is a bare concrete cube, stained with black. On the floor are 6 skeletons. Each appears human but with distorted features, including lengthened legs, horns, and extra ribcage, etc. No 2 skeletons have the same distortion. They are evenly spaced in a radial pattern, with an empty spot indicating an absent 7th figure. The drone moves on to the blue door. It contains smashed and scattered mechanical fragments surrounding a large pedestal. On the pedestal is a large oaken door and frame with 7 locks. The door is not attached to any wall. All locks are broken, and the door hangs loosely from the frame. The banging stops. The drone continues on to the second green door, and the banging continues. This room is filled with instruments that appear designed for incarceration or causing pain. Identified devices include whips with black glassy shards embedded in them, chains, bladed implements such as daggers and hooked knives, and wooden tables covered in deep cuts. The drone approaches the red door, but it is closed. The drone pushes against the door, and the banging intensifies. More red liquid spurts from behind the door, now with streaks of black in it. The drone continues on its path and returns to its original location, where it is recovered 23 hours later. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and comment. Subscribe and click the bell icon.